Hi students, this is Miss Johnson back with our lesson for 0-5 multiply and divide rational numbers. Our swabat for today is we're going to multiply and divide decimals and fractions. If you remember from the other day when we were down in the cafeteria with our next example was working with multiplying fractions. Example A in number 2, 2/5 times 1/3. Go ahead and set them up. And when you multiply, you just get to multiply straight across the numerator and straight across the denominator. Okay, those are your notes. Multiply straight across. I'm sure you remember that from last year. So when we set it up, numerators, 2 times 1 is 2, 5 times 3 is 15, so our answer is 2/15, 2/15. Letter B, we've got 3/5 multiplied by 1 1/2. And in this case, we want to first write 1 1/2 as an improper fraction. Once it's an improper fraction, then we can do it just like letter A of multiply right across your numerator and denominator. But if you're not sure how to do 1 1/2 as an improper fraction, remember, you take the whole number, 1, times the denominator, 2, and then you add the numerator, 1. When you do that, you get 3/2. So our problem is now 3/5 times 3. Alright, back with the rest of example 2. The video cut us off. So the problem is 3/2 times our 3/5. 3/5 times 3/2. So we just multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9, 5 times 2 is 10, so our answer is 9/10. Moving on, we're actually going to skip example 3 in the book and we're going to go to example number 4. Number 4 talks about what is the reciprocal of a number. And of course, Jessica knows this. The reciprocal is the inverse, or flip-flop. For example, if you've got the fraction 3/8, the reciprocal is 8/3. You just flip-flop the numerator upside down. Alright, so problem to try is what is the reciprocal of 2 and 4/5? This time we've got a whole number and a fraction. So first thing we want to do is we want to turn this into an improper fraction. Then it makes it a piece of cake. Improper fraction, if you forgot how to do that, just a reminder, you take the whole number times the denominator plus the numerator. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4, 14/5. So to find the reciprocal, you just flip-flop, take the inverse, so it is 5/14. Excellent. We're going to need that as we go on to our final example, example number 5, is we're going to be finding quotients, working with fractions. Remember, the quotient is the answer when you divide. Here's 4 steps we're going to follow when dividing fractions. Number 1, we want to change it to a multiplication problem. Dividing fractions as is a difficult thing, so change it to multiplication. Secondly, when we find that inverse, when we change it to a multiplication problem, we are flip-flopping the sign, so we want to do the reciprocal. We want to flip-flop that second fraction. Then we can multiply them as normal for step 3 and simplify if possible for step 4. So, when we've got the problem, example 5, we're going to take 1/3 divided by 1/2. First you want to ask yourself, is my answer going to be positive or negative? I'm sure Emily knows this. We got a positive times a positive, so yes, Emily, you are correct. It is going to be positive. So we're going to rewrite step number 1. We're going to rewrite as a multiplication problem. 1/3, instead of dividing, we're going to put multiplying. Step 2 is to change that second fraction to the reciprocal. So instead of it being 1/2, 1/2, we're going to change it to being 2/1. That's the reciprocal. Step 3, multiply straight across. So 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is obviously 3. So our answer is 2/3. We cannot simplify 2/3. Let's try letter B. We've got the problem, -1/5 divided by -3/10. Let's think about this. Positive or negative? I'm sure Keelan knows this one. Negative divided by a negative is? Keelan, you're right. It is a positive. So let's follow the steps. Since we know we're going to have a positive answer, let's set it up as a multiplication problem. -1/5. Change it, do the reciprocal of dividing to multiplying. Then take the reciprocal, flip-flop the second fraction. Instead of -3/10, we've got -10/3. Just flip-flop them up and down. Then, step 3, multiply straight across as normal. -1 times -10 is +10. Multiply the denominators, 5 times 3 is 15. But don't leave your answer as 10 over 15. It can be simplified. And you know that 5 can go into both 10 and 15. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So our answer is going to be a positive 2/3. The last thing is your summary. And I know that you are getting better and better at your summaries. Today we're going to do our summary a little bit different. You're going to fill in some sentences. So complete the statement. Today I learned. Go ahead and fill in what you learned. Secondly, things you need to remember. What did you forget that you were reminded of in today's video? And third, I still have a question on how to fill in what you don't quite understand. Alright, that's it for 0-5, multiplying and dividing rational numbers. Thank you for your attention, and hopefully you're all set to work on the homework problems tomorrow in class.